So we've had a little bit of time for the meta to settle down after the Season 3 update, and in this video we're going to be going over what are the best TTK weapons for close range inside Warzone at the moment. If you do enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel. Now we will be mainly focusing on fully automatic weapons in this game because those are the main weapons everyone's using. So this is going to be SMGs as well as ARs and focus on that TTK potential at close range. Now what we're going to take a look into first is the TTKs of some of the ARs in the game as well as the SMGs. These are fully automatic weapons everyone will be using at close range. This is based on 300 HP and it's also based on chest shot TTKs. So that's what we're mainly focusing on here. So let's take a look at the ARs first. We're going to arrange it for close range TTKs. And as you can see, the top three weapons here are the AS44, which got a recent buff to recoil. So it's actually a very solid option at 539 millisecond TTK for chest shots. AS Val is up there as well, which has always been a very fast TTK weapon. And then we've got the Volk as well. So Volk is a very solid weapon at the moment if you build it for speed. Moving on into the SMGs quickly now, we're going to arrange it again for the first TTK damage range. And as you can see here, we've got the Type 100 at 544 milliseconds, which is absolutely insane. Then we've got the Owen gun, and then we have the PPSH from Vanguard. And this is mainly that hipfire build that we've seen before. So now we're going to get into the builds for these weapons, starting off with a PPSH from Vanguard. And as you can see here, the build has been changed a little bit because we had to change it to get that fastest possible TTK. But on top of that, again, you can still use this as that hipfire build. It's not going to be as accurate or as impressive as it was before, but it's still a fast killing weapon. So if you do want to try it out, you can. So for the build, you want to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. You have to use the rapid barrel now to get that faster TTK. There's no other way around it. Then you can use the Carver foregrip. You can use any other foregrip you want, but I do think the Carver foregrip is probably going to be the best option here, just because it's going to help with the hipfire accuracy and the recoil control. So if you do want the ADS, you've got a little bit of recoil control there. Then you actually have to use the Grenko mags. Everyone previously was using the Nambu mags, but the Grenko mags actually give you that faster TTK now. Then lengthened, then the fabric grip for the better sprint to fire times. Fleet is going to allow you to move a lot quicker whilst you're hip firing. That's kind of the whole point in it, so you need to use fleet. Quick for the better movement speeds once again. The remove stock again for better movement speeds as well as better hip fire accuracy. And then I use a slate reflector. You can put on a higher optic on there and get a little bit extra recoil control out of it, but if you do need to ADS it, it's going to look really weird, and especially how much recoil this weapon is going to have, it's probably not a good idea. So I don't really think it's the best weapon in the game, but it definitely kills really quick. Next up, we actually have the Volk. Now this gun is gaining more and more popularity due to True Game Data's video going over how fast the strafing speeds are on this weapon. Now, so this build that we have is going to give you that insane strafe speed that True Game Data mentioned, but also going to give you that insanely fast TTK that you need for a close range weapon. So overall, it's going to be a really great build that you can try out. It's a super solid weapon. So first of all, you want to use the recoil booster for that faster fire rate. VDD barrel for the better strafing speeds. Usually I would recommend the Krosnik if you were pairing this with a sniper or something, for example. But if you are running this as a secondary weapon with an assault rifle or an LMG, for example, then the VDD is going to help out with that strafing speeds. Slate reflector or any optic you like. You need to use the adjustable stock again for that strafing speed. It also helps with your initial recoil as well. Steady, or you could use gung ho, or you could use fleet as well, but I do think steady's the best because it helps with the ADS whilst firing movement speeds. Fully loaded, you can actually go for on hand as well to give you a faster ADS time. Both are good options. Groove grip again is going to help with that strafing speed once more, but also helps with side to side recoil. 60 round mags is going to give you the fastest possible TTK, so make sure you use the 60 round mags. Even though it slows you down a little bit in every other department, you still kind of need to go for these mags. Subsonic, or you can go for lengthened. Lengthened's good as well. Both are solid options. And then the ready grip is what you need to use again for that strafing speed. But overall, this gun moves ridiculously fast and it has a pretty insane TTK, so it is a solid close range option. Next up, we have the AS Val, which is the only 5 attachment gun on this list at the moment, and that shows you how far they're willing to push this Vanguard meta on everyone. But regardless, the AS Val does kill insanely quick. It's only really viable in maybe solos or rebirth currently because they are going to increase the health to 300 HP on Rebirth as well. But for the builds, now a lot of people do usually recommend the VLK barrel, but it only helps with bullet velocity and range. It does not help with recoil control, which is what this gun actually needs. So I wouldn't really go for the VLK barrel. I'd actually use the attachment elsewhere. So tac laser for the better ADS times, of course. The GI Mini Reflex, this gun does need an optic. The iron sights are horrible. 30 round mags is an absolute must on this weapon. You can't use it any other way. Stipple grip tape for the better aim down sight. Sprint to fire, in my opinion, is going to be very useful. And then sleight of hand to allow you to reload your mags quicker, at least, because it's got a super small magazine. So if you do want to try out something from Modern Warfare, then you can use the ASVAL, but I don't think it's going to be one of the better options that's from this list. Next up, we have an absolutely solid weapon, and it's the Owen gun. I do think the Owen gun's still one of the most meta SMGs in the game at the moment, and it's one of the fastest killing guns, of course, like I showed you before. So you do want to use the recoil booster for the better fire rate, rapid barrel again for the faster fire rate, hand stop underbarrel for the recoil control. You need to use the 9mm 72 round mags. This is going to give you the best possible TTK with this gun now. So remember, it's the 9mm, not the Grenko. Subsonic or lengthened, once again, both are really good options. Fabric grip, or you can use the polymer if you're struggling with recoil control. I just like the better ADS and movement. Fleet for the better movement speeds, but again, you can go for brace for better recoil control. Both are solid options. Even steady is a really good option as well. I went for quick as well, but you can use on hand for better ADS times. So there's a couple of different options you can go for there. And then the remove stock is always the best when it comes to the Owen gun, and the slate reflector. You could choose whatever optic you like. But I do think the Owen gun's an absolutely solid weapon, especially as a secondary to pair with an assault rifle, so it's almost a no-brainer. Moving on into the two fastest killing guns in the game now. So at number 2, we do have the Type 100. Now you need to use this specific build to get the fastest possible TTK out this weapon. So you need to use the recoil booster for the faster fire rate. You need to use the rapid barrel, once again similar to the Owen gun, for the faster fire rate, but you also need to use the 36 round mags. Now you do get a pretty reasonable TTK with the 48 round mags, but the 36 will give you the fastest possible TTK. Now again, the mags are a bit too small, similar to the ASVAL, to actually make this gun viable in anything more than solos. So I don't really think it's gonna be the best option, but it definitely has a fast TTK. Now I use the hand stop underbarrel for the recoil control. I use the polymer grip for the recoil control as well. And then the movement attachments I'm using here are fleet. You don't need vital to get the fastest TTK. It doesn't really change the TTK numbers. You can use gung ho as well, so either fleet or gung ho will be really good here. On hand or quick, again, both really solid options as well. The skeletal stock is the best when it comes to the Type 100, and then the slate reflector. But overall, again, this is going to have the same kind of issue as the ASVAL when it comes to having such a small magazine, so keep that in mind when you are using the Type 100. Last but not least, at number 1, we have the AS44. Now this gun's not going to move the absolute quickest, but it definitely has a ridiculously fast TTK, and now that they've reduced the recoil of this gun just a little bit, it makes it very viable as a sniper support option if you build it the correct way. So the attachments you definitely need to get the fast TTK is the recoil booster. You need to use the Empress Falchion barrel for the faster fire rate, and you also need to use the 60 round mags. This is the only way to get that fast TTK. The rest of the attachments are actually going to just be helping the recoil more or less. So hand stop underbarrel to control the recoil. Lengthened is just for the bullet velocity, but you could choose subsonic as well if you like. Polymer grip is going to help with the recoil, so I do think it helps out an absolute ton. But you can also choose the fabric grip if you think you control the recoil of this weapon anyway, and you want a bit more movement speed out this weapon. Steady or gung ho are both solid options for the perk 1 slot. On hand or fully loaded, whatever you prefer here in the secondary slot. I just think on hand's a little bit better for the better ADS times. The ZAC-12A, because even though it does con your movement, which is probably not the best idea, it does help with recoil control, and especially that side-to-side recoil is the main issue, so that is why I went for the 12A, but you could choose whatever stock you like. The skeletal is also a solid option as well, and then the slate reflector is going to be my favourite optic on this weapon. So there we have it. Those are the 6 fastest TTK weapons in the game when it comes to fully automatic guns. I have thrown on screen the JAK-12 as well, so if you do want to use that build, you can, because this is the actual fastest killing gun in the entire game. The only issue with it is I don't like it too much because it's a shotgun, but if you do want to try it out, you can. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click on screen just now just to watch one of our previous videos, and thank you very much for watching.